This is the employee sub setup screen where you will add and modify employees and subs that you've already put in your system. You'll notice that this is one of the main screens in QPro. Basically, when you come to this screen, you'll have a list of people that you've already put into the system previously that you can click on, and when you do that, the details of that person will appear on the right-hand side of the screen. To input a new one, you simply hit the new button here. It blanks out all of the previous information that was in there so that you can start typing in new stuff like this, Bailey. And then I will just point out here that the last name, the first name, the email address, the type, the status, and the screen name are all required fields. If you hit the save button at this point, red selections will appear here letting you know that you have to fill in at least those pieces of information. So I think I will do that really quick. Social security numbers, all of this other stuff is optional. On type, you can see the options. This is kind of important. Cells, if somebody is going to be filling out a sales order in the system and you need to assign it to that person, they need to have an entry in here as cells. Same with installation. If you have somebody that's going to be doing installations and you need to record or track the amount of money that you need to pay that person, you need to have them set up as an installer. The other ones don't matter so much. Management, office, and other, they're more just labels. But cells and installers do matter. And let's say that you have a person that does both. You'll probably want to set them up twice in the system, once as a salesperson and once as an installer, so that you can use their name in either place. I'll just select cells here. The other thing is that when you do select cells or installer, there is another field that pops up here called table. Only on those two selections. And the reason is, if you're a salesperson, the next selection would be which commission table are you going to use? And if you're an installer, this would be which cost rate that you're going to use as a default. Now, if you don't use anything here, the default is 0, which a lot of times people don't ever select this because they only fill out one labor rate for everybody. But if you have multiples, you could do that, and then the default could be what's ever in here. We'll just put an LO there, which would be level 0 for that installer. Status is also important. Like I said, it's a required field. You can put either contractor or an employee here. The workman's comp is optional, and liability insurance is optional. Start and end date for when that employee started and ended is also optional. What is not optional is screen name. So we'll put a screen name in there. We'll hit the save button, and it will go ahead and save it in here. Now this person has been saved into the system. So now the last thing would be to give that person access. So I'm going to click on the access button. You can see here that we can redefine passwords and everything here. So I'm going to do that first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for their passwords. You'll also see that it shows which stores that they can access over here. Let me show you how this works. So this would be a list of all of my locations that I have. If I click on one of these, you can see how it adds it to the list there. And now you can see that it's highlighted in gray. If I click on another one, it'll add that to the list also. So you can add all of the locations that they have access to or don't have access to. And then the last thing would be the permission groups. Each one of these groups, the permissions of what they can and can't do, is defined over on the setup menu, and there's another video that describes that for the permissions. In those groups, it will say admin or admin number 2 can access these things, or admin number 3 can access these things. And then when you come over to this window, you click on it and say, I want to give them rights to admin or admin number 3, both of them at the same time, and then it will save those permission rights for that person. And then all we have to do is hit save, and you're done.